What's up, you guys? Welcome back. We are getting ready to drop an LS back into our G Body. If you didn't see the last video, make sure you go check it out. We were putting motor mounts in and getting everything situated. I noticed that I had a little drip coming from the transmission pan. So we're gonna go ahead and drain it and swap the filter, put a new gasket in it, put a new rear seal in it. I take a lot of pride in my stuff not leaking. And then once that's all done, we can put it back in the car and hopefully it doesn't have to come out. I do need to get the pickup tube put on also, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop the oil pan while I'm at it and grab one off the shelf, slam it in, and that should be good. So let's get into it. And while I'm over here in the parts pile, I went ahead and grabbed the fuel rail off this bad boy because it is a non-return line. Like, this one is a return line. It has a factory fuel regulator in it. And this one is also the same with the factory fuel regulator. I'm gonna run a 60 PSI fuel pump on it, so there's no need for the regulator. But in the meantime, this one looks good. Bolt in it, gasket on it, good enough. Let's slam it in. Okay, so before you put your pickup tube in, make sure you lube your gasket at least a little bit. Using the old oil is just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You just need something in there so you don't wreck it going in. Stick your finger in the oil in the pan and you just go around your pickup tube real quick. Just like so. I'm gonna have to put a couple nuts on, which is no big deal. They have to go on anyways to the mount. Okay, so we got both the nuts back on, and we're gonna take this little flange and push it up in there and start our bolt. Now, it is very, very, very important that you don't over torque this bolt because you will strip it. And then you have to buy an aftermarket deal. I forget what they're called, but you have to buy one with 2 bolts in it then. So I'm gonna go ahead and finger tight that one for now. It is a 10 millimeter. And then I'm gonna take our 13 millimeter and tighten our nuts up. I have no idea what they get torqued to. If you really, really, really wanna know other than tight, you're gonna have to look it up. And now we're gonna tighten up our 10 millimeter. But like I was saying, you don't wanna over tighten it because it will strip super easy. I believe they only get maybe 10 foot-pounds, if that. And just like that, the pickup tube's back in the motor. I am going to spray out this oil pan a little bit with some carb cleaner, just get the debris knocked down into the bottom so when I drain the oil, it all comes out. But after that, we are going to go ahead and put the pan back on. Another thing that I forgot to do while I was messing with the motor outside of the car is put the torque converter bolts in. I'm gonna go ahead and put the 3 torque converter bolts in, and if you're wondering why they look like this, click back a couple videos on how to put a Turbo 350 onto an LS, and I explain everything. One more thing you're gonna wanna do before you put your oil pan on is make sure that the gasket's still good, and you just rub your finger across it or your nail, and if you can still feel a lip on it, your gasket is still good. All right, so I got the tranny pan off, and as you can see, there's some stuff in it. So if yours looks like this, all you're gonna wanna do is take a magnet and run it through here and make sure that none of it sticks. Not like I just did, I stuck it to the pan. But for the most part, it is clean. That is just dirt and grime. I'm not sure if this transmission has ever been washed out or flushed or any of that. I got it from a friend and it was free, just like the motor. So I just kind of want to do my due diligence here so I don't have to do it again. We're going to get the pan cleaned up and then we're going to get the filter swapped out and we should be good to go. We'll put the pan back on and we'll fill everything up and shove it in the car. Well, we've ran into a hiccup with this transmission, and it started with the filter. I wasn't sure which filter was in it because I didn't take the pan off before I bought one. So I got to go swap that out, and I didn't plan on doing it tonight because I work right next to the parts store, and I don't feel like driving all the way over there. But I went to swap the rear seal also, and turns out I have axle seals and not transmission rear seals. So I guess I'm gonna make a trip to the parts store so I can button this up. And just like that, we got this thing back together. So all I did to put this seal in was take a really big socket and hammer it in square. And then I swapped out the filter, put the pan back on, tightened the bolts up. I did not go crazy on them. I just snugged them up and then just a little bit more. So that's where I'm gonna end off on this video. Just quick, simple, easy. The next one, we're gonna shove it in the car. I do have a work trip coming up that I need to kind of focus on. So I'm kind of gonna put this on hold until I get back. I should be back on Sunday, as long as flights and everything work out, which I don't know why they wouldn't. But I'm headed to Las Vegas, and then this motor is going in the car. So the next video, we'll be putting it in the car, and then we'll button up the harness on it. I did get the harness ran through the firewall the other day. We'll go ahead and put the PCM under the dash, get the wiring wrapped up, and then we'll stab the motor back in, get the electronics hooked up, and I'll go through all of that. After that, it should just be fill it up with fluids, and I may or may not have to change my radiator hose. And then some of you guys may know about the steam port on the LS motors. All we are going to do is take it and pipe it right into the water pump. Just quick, easy, done. It is, I believe it's a 1/4 inch NPT tap that you need. They're not really that uncommon. And then you just get a little 1/4 inch hose barb and you screw it into the top of your water pump. But we're going to go through all that. Just follow along, hit the subscribe, hit the like. And if you got any questions, drop a comment. If you have any suggestions on videos or I wasn't clear enough on something, drop a comment. I'm more than willing to make a video explaining stuff. I just had somebody reach out this morning about the wiring harness, and I told them that I am actually right in the middle of a swap, and I will be making another video on the wiring harness. Otherwise, if you go all the way back to the Fox Body videos, I kind of briefly touched on the wiring harness. I didn't go super into depth on it because that was my first one. I really didn't know. But now I have endless knowledge about these things. So I will catch you guys in the next one, and thanks for watching.